Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Hey, good to have y'all in here with us this afternoon. I hope that y'all have had a great day. If you're here on Facebook or joining us live here on YouTube, we want to thank y'all for being here with us this afternoon and joining our program. I also want to say if you have any kind of questions or anything, any particular thing that you would like to ask, feel free at any time to chime in. We try our best to keep up with the chat, with everything that's going on. I know sometimes it runs by pretty fast, but we'll try our best. Joey is on the computer. He's looking to see what y'all got to say. And good afternoon, Joey.
Good afternoon. I'm on my computer. I'm on my cell phone. So we're all over it. Of course, sometimes we still miss some questions and stuff. It's not that we ignore any question. Sometimes they scroll by and we don't catch them. So forgive us for that. But we are watching for them.
Hey, there's a lot of people already joining in on the chat, and we do have a couple giveaways we're going to do today during this here. What's up, Brent Townsend? Hey, good to see you. We even got old Paul Bender Presley. He's in the house this afternoon. Hey, we got the SmackDown Daddy, old Trent Williams. Guys, if y'all had never seen a father Trent Williams, you need to. I promise you. Hey, listen, it's priceless. Trent, good to see you, man. Greg Mays, and we got Mike Russell in the house. Skip Stewart. I mean, they popping by so fast.
Big Bama Grimes tuned in.
Hey, I thought I seen Big Bama come by here just a while ago. Hey, we even got Troy Smith in the house.
Troy Smith.
Jimmy Taylor. Jimmy Taylor's a local guy here with me.
There's Big Catfish Mike Mitchell.
Hey, he's the big cat catcher now.
Yeah, hey, I'm kind of disappointed. When we talked to him at the boat ramp at Pickwick, Stacy, he wasn't telling us nothing, was he? he wasn't going to tell us nothing.
Oh, hey guys, so good to have y'all in here with us. Joey, you got anything you want to say or add to before we get started?
John Rainey had last week. He had a great show on here. He posted a picture on his page earlier. Stacey and I was talking about it. Standing by that big RS net. Big shout out to them again for hooking him up with that net. Any of y'all looking for a big, nice quality net made in Ohio? Look up rsnetsusa.com, and they're the best out there. And they. Stacy showed a live or a video of him fishing the other day, how they extend out there in that current and stuff. And when you got that 30, 32, 36 inch extension on there in that current, it sure helps out. But other than that, Stacy, like you said, we got a few giveaways tonight, and we thank everybody for tuning in.
Hey, this is what I want to cover something tonight when we get started. I had a couple people message me this week. We had the opportunity to go fishing some this week. Actually, last Saturday. And the river I fish on, I don't. A lot of people think that I fish up on Wheeler and Wilson, and that's my home waters. But I'm actually about 4.5, 5 hours south of Wheeler and the Tennessee River. I just get to go up there during my time that I got 2 or 3 days off. I'm located in a little town called Greenville, Alabama, about 50 miles south of Montgomery. Montgomery is located right on I-65. Montgomery is sort of the central part of Alabama, and I'm located about 50 miles south of there. I fish on the river system, on the Alabama River system. There's Claiborne Reservoir, there's Miller's Ferry, there's Jones Bluff. It's where I fish at. The fishing is really, really tough. I had told Joy one time, I said, you can catch them over here, you can catch them about anywhere, because I'm telling you, it's tough. I've had a goal of trying to catch one over 70 pounds on the Alabama River. And I have seen a lot of them down south when it gets around Mobile with the Tensaw and sort of the Mobile Delta. I've seen some down there come out 70, 80 pounds. But up in the Miller's Ferry area, that's one of my goals. I've landed a couple. I usually catch one or two a year, bumping that 50, between 50 and 60 pounds. Did have had the opportunity to catch one a day, 40, 41. But you have to work really, really hard at it. I mean, they few and far between, and they like trying to find needle in a haystack. But I fish a lot of current. Most of the time, this river system is controlled by the Corps of Engineers. So they're turning water on, they're turning water off. You may go over there today, and that river may be up and running. You may go back tomorrow, and it be standing dead still. I have one over there, and it be going the opposite direction. They just backing it up. So it throws a lot of stuff at you. But majority of the time, it's a little bit of current going on. And had a couple people messaging me this week about what do I fish with in the current. And I'm going to try my best to show you what I got. And I went to this rig here a couple years ago just for the convenience of it. And this is my lead, my main line right here. And it comes down to a barrel swivel. And this is just a regular barrel swivel is all it is. You can find these at Dale's Tackle. I usually get the biggest ones he's got. And this right here is a number 8 clip. This barrel swivel and this snap is not sold together. They sold separately. And I usually like to get the biggest snap that I can get my hands on. And so I go from that and I go to my leader. And you can see, I don't know if I can get it all in this picture or not, but you can see, I'd say my leader is somewhere between around 18 inches long is what it is. And I use 80-pound mono. And I come down, and this is a Mad Catter hook, and I got it snailed there. 80-pound leader. The reason I went to this is when I'm using this, no matter what current I'm in, I used to use a slide that, Joe, you know the time that you run your line through the middle of it and it slides up and down your eye? Mm-hmm. I used to use that kind, but I went to this. Yeah. I really like this. Yeah, this right here. I think Dale's calls these the flat bank sinkers is what they call. And then they are no roll type sinker. But what I can do with this, I can put this one on my snout real quick, and I'm ready to go. And if that's not enough, I can just add another one to it.
Stacey, you use that same rig right there for your dragon weight too, just a different leader.
Yes. I use this same deal right here for my dragon weight. My leader's different, and I use that what I call the Kirby float and stuff from my leader out. But this is the same thing that I use when I'm dragging. I can just unsnap this and put any kind of weight on and off of it really, really quick. And so I can add to it, take off of it without having to cut my line and do all that to it. Now, somebody had asked me one time, and I know that if you're flathead fishing, they want that weight to be able to slide up and down the line. That's where if a fish gets it, you know how them flatheads, man, they get so finicky sometimes. And I've sat there and watched them like 10 minutes piddle around with my pole, and I'm like, is he ever going to take it? And people sometimes I think it's a small fish, and when he finally goes south with it, you realize he's not a small one. It's just sometimes in flatheads it's just like that.
Right.
But when they like that, if my weight is hooked to this, if they piddle around with it like that, I don't want him to be able to feel this weight. And so some people say, well, what do you do then? Well, without even cutting my line, I don't know what they call these, easy sliders or something or other. I think Dale's got these also. But watch this, how quick and how simple. I don't know. I can put this on my line, and it's on there, and this slides up and down it. Then all I got to do, I can just take this other snap off and snap my weight into this, and now he does not feel the tension of that weight on my line. The line slides through it. So that's what I use. I use it because it's just easy to get in, off, change my weight, go to different things real quick without having to cut the line. I don't know how everybody else does it, but that's the way I do mine.
Stacy, I use the no rolls a whole lot. Mainly 6 and 8 ounce no rolls is what works best for the Green River and Ohio River here. But I will tell you, using those no rolls, you do have to get those stoppers, or that no roll sinker will keep pounding that knot. Whether you use a barrel swivel, a 3-way swivel, whatever you use, it will keep pounding that. And I have the last couple times I've ordered some sinkers from Dale, I've been getting the coin sinkers just because, and using them with the sinker slides. Those no roll sinkers, I really like them, but those modes, a lot of times it's hard to get real smooth. So using braid or mono, that sinker sliding up and down that line all the time is gonna cause some friction and stuff on it, and weaken the line. Not that I've had many problems with it, but I have noticed it sometimes. So keep an eye. But like you say, Stacy, I do like it free pulling for when fish. Like the way that you use it there, sometimes it might get stuck in the mud, and a lot of times the fish are trying to pull that sinker up out of that mud before it goes to your lead line. So I do like it sliding. And also, if you're fishing in some current, if you have a heavier sinker, I noticed Stacy doing this. If you're using a heavier sinker in the current, and say you throw it out, that sinker is going to rest on the bottom. So a lot of times I've watched Stacy, like he's told me before, I pay attention to everything that's going on. So when he's anchored up in swift water, a lot of people want their rods real tight lined. Well, I've watched Stacy, and a lot of them, like bank fishermen, so to say, like that rod hunkered down. Give that rod a little bit of slack, and it lets that line with your bait go on out away from your sinker some and float out there some. It does work. I've seen Stacy doing it. So the next time some of y'all anchor up fish and stuff, if you know your sinker's stationary on the bottom, give it just a little bit of slack, and it'll let that line loose instead of set there however far from your sinker.
You know something, Joey, and I do a couple of different things when fishing in current, and I know everybody's different in what they do. I will throw some out that I'll throw 10. I may put 8 or 10 ounces on it because I want it to sit right where it's at. I may put 1 or 2 that's got 3 or 4 ounces on it.
Yeah.
And I've seen people, it just drives them crazy that the line's moving. I'm like, just let it move.
Yeah.
Because I have come to find out I want that weight to find that sweet spot, and it's just rolling around the current, moving around. Them fish are, I guarantee y'all, I promise you, them fish are used to chasing bait down. It does not have to just sit still all the time. And so I do like some that just floats around out there when we out there anchored fishing.
Tell you something else that I do, Stacy, that I found that works for me. And it works. I don't keep a whole lot of secrets, but if I'm fishing in some real swift current water and I'm using 10 or even 12 ounce, sometimes when you let that line loose, that bait will almost walk. So if you're fishing close to some structure, say you anchored up 50 yards or 30 or 40 yards from some structure trying to pull some fish out of there, every 5 minutes or so, let that line out another 4, 5, 6, 8 foot or so, because eventually you're gonna get in a little drop off or against some structure and stuff. You'll feel it. Then leave it right there, just like whenever you're bumping, walking down the river. If you feel it drop off an extra foot or 2 or 3, or feel it in some structure, anybody that bumps a lot or walks back knows they're just going to sit there and hold it for an extra 10 or 15 or 20 seconds. But if you sit there and just feed it line back, eventually you're going to get in that sweet spot, or reel them in 5 or 10 cranks every 10 or 15 minutes, and it works.
Well, Joey, sometimes I know you've seen me, because I reach and grab 2 or 3 of them. It's almost like a skip, and I reach back and throw that thing as far as I possibly can. Yeah. And I want to get it back there if it's just as far as I can. And then when I set up, I'm like, we're gonna be sitting here for 30 or 40 minutes, and I'm gonna let it sit in one spot for a little bit. I'm going to reel it up 10 rounds or so, and I'm going to just let it sit there again. I'm like, if he's between where I throwed it in the boat, I'm going to bring that bait back by him again, you know? Yeah. So, that's just some techniques that I use. It seems like they work for me. And I also want to share this other thing. I'm big on this. Joey can tell you, when I get ready to anchor in current, I'm looking for a Pacific place. I think Charles Crook, the guy that's owning the Meat Hunter rods, the first night we went out in the dark, and I told him I may have problems. I can't quite see like I want to. And he said, "What you looking for?" I says, "I'm looking to try to get right where I want to in these current seams." And that's what I like. Everybody to their own. Some people just get out right in the middle of the current, and that ain't nothing wrong with that, but I'm looking for some kind of seam, some kind of break.
Something different.
Something different. I love to get where there's some still water running beside some swift water, because you see them breaks, and I'm like, I'm trying to get my boat positioned right here on this break. And it seems like it's always worked good for me.
Yeah.
So
you can't. That's the good thing about catfishing, Stacy, and why I like it. You really can't do no wrong. If something's not working, pick up and move and just do something a little bit different. If you're anchored up in 40 foot of water and you fished a drop off or a ledge or something, and something's not working, go try to find 20 foot of water with a tree or some structure or something. If that don't work, I was talking to Stacy the other day, and I was fishing in. I'll tell you what I did the other day. I was fishing in 40 foot of water. It's got cold here. Didn't do any good. I moved to about 20 foot of water. I didn't do any good. So I went up to another little spot, and I had three rods out, just sitting on the bottom, spot locked. And I was fishing in about 12 foot of water. And I had probably about a 30-pound flathead on. He drilled it, and it's pretty rare to catch them in this cool water at home. And I tried to get him on Facebook Live, and in the meantime, I loosened my drag up, and he pulled me down into a big old tree. But anyway, that's a fish story. But I started out in 40 foot of water, ended up catching fish in 25 foot of water, and then I moved on, and I hooked that big flathead in about less than 15 foot of water, really.
Hey, Joey,
you can't do any wrong.
Now, Joey, let's go ahead right now, and we got the first giveaway of the night. Man, the chat has just been rocking. And when we get through with this, Joey, remind me, I want to talk one more. I want to talk another point or two about trying to find some fish in current on these smaller rivers and stuff. Just remind me of that right there, of a technique that I use.
All right.
We're going to give away a pack of 12 Alt Dale's tackle hooks.
Right.
So we're going to give them away. Y'all give me just a second here. Keep them occupied there for a minute, Joey.
Stacy, I've had a few questions. Some people's talking about your rod holders, and somebody said that you was blurry, but Stacy stays blurry. Jason Moses. When We got Greg Mays in. There was a couple of other questions, but there, like you said, if the chat's flying. Jeremy Chow's on here tonight. I seen where Hummingbird's going to come out with a new unit, and I think he'll probably be one of the first ones to get it. So y'all join his page. He's always got some good information.
Yeah, if they want to keep up with Hummingbird to stay on the cutting edge with the Hummingbird, contact and keep up there with Journey Chow. He knows all about that. And Journey, I was thinking, man, I wouldn't mind having him in one of them 19-inch screens sitting up. I don't know where I'd put it at, but I'd love to have it on there.
Dustin Fowl, Stacy Dustin Fowl wants to know what kind of anchor you use, and I'll answer that. When I'm with him, it's what kind of anchor I use. It don't have anything to do with Stacy. But Stacy uses an anchor that he makes. It's called the Plow. And I'm gonna tell you now, I've been wanting one. Them things, when you let them down, they're sticking. So Dustin, you had a bout with that Plow once.
Hey, Joey, you remember he threw that thing over, and we was in a lot of current,
Yeah.
and as soon as he hit the bottom, we was in some rocks. That thing grabbed, and he was trying to stop the boat.
Do you remember them old cartoons where they throw something off a cliff and they'd pull them over the cliff with it? That's how he was going to look in that boat if he didn't let go of that line.
Well, Joey, I'm going to say this. I was fishing a couple weekends ago with Michael Hilliard. He's located just north of me here in Prattville, and I went off fishing with him. And so I got there, and I hopped in his boat, and we stopped at the first couple of places, and he looked at me. He says, "Now you know how Joey feels, don't you?" Because they had me throwing an anchor and pulling it up.
That's right. Hey, you got to move around.
Here is the winner of the 12 Dale's tackle hooks is Kimberly Turner. Miss Kimberly, if you would, you can contact me on Facebook Messenger. You can do it through SmackDown Catfishing or up under Stacy Gaston. Just send me a message, send me your address, and I'll make sure that these 12 Dale tackle hooks gets to you.
I know
we're gonna also give away one of these hats here tonight. So y'all, this is my new hats right here. I'm waiting to get some slime on this thing, man.
Them hats look good, Stacy.
Oh, hey, you know what I say, don't you? They popping, ain't they?
They're popping.
Guys, you can go to SmackDown Catfishing and get you one of these right here.
Yep, they're on there. They're sharp. Stacy, you was gonna fill them in and on your other technique.
Yeah, and this is something else that I use when I'm anchored fishing. I've noticed this when you get in a lot of current, and you got some pretty strong current going, that I don't know if the fish just get hunkered down the bottom and I can't find them as good. I can't, with very little bit of current. Sometimes I found out that I can see them on my graph better, but that higher current, they're hard to find. I just trust my instincts. One of the things I do, especially it's wintertime, summertime, or whatever, when I'm trying to find these fish, I'm fishing from 12 foot, 20 foot, 30 foot. I'm fishing outside bends, inside bends, and it's like I'm going to put them on a timer because I'm just going I call it running and gunning. I mean, and I hope I got a good anchor man with me because we're going to hit this spot. We're going to pull it up. We're going to.
So, Stacy, how long you're telling them, how long are you like to give a spot?
I like to, in the summertime, 20 or 30 minutes. Wintertime, I would go 45 minutes. But I'm just trying to figure out, and I don't try to fish the same type spot. If I was fishing in 40 foot of water and didn't get a bite, I'm not going back to 40 foot of water. I'm going to go to 20 foot. If I was fishing an inside bend and didn't get a bite, I'm going to go to an outside bend. I'm just going to be trying to change things till I find out. And if I caught one on the inside bend on 20 foot of water, my next stop would be if we caught a couple like that, not just one, sometimes I think, you could just accidentally catch one, but we catch 2 or 3 on the inside bend in 20 foot of water. My next spot that I'm looking to stop at is going to be an inside bend around that 20, 25 foot of water. And I just try to form a pattern like that. It does take some time. It does take some patience, but the way I look at it, I got all day. That's what I'm here to do, and trying to find these fish. And I talk to a lot of guys, and I know a lot of y'all is just getting started catfishing. You hadn't been in it long, and you haven't, maybe you ain't been used to catching maybe some big catfish. One of the things I could tell you to do is try to break the habit of doing what you've always done and it's not producing no results. Hey, just go to different things, go to different techniques, try different things until you can find a pattern where these fish is at. One of the things I have noticed, and I preach this all the time, these fish are moving, and they're not always where you caught them at last year. The next thing I think is through floods and things of this nature, the bottom is changing. So fish, what you used to catch them on in one place, it may not be there. If it was a sandy bottom, it might have been a hole there 2 years ago when you caught them. And when you go back now, it's done flooded 3 times, and that ground has done shifted. And so just trying to find something different, use your sonar and move around some. I promise you, if you would use these techniques and just continue to stay consistent at it and try to sort of make a mental note of everything that's going on and what you're doing and how you caught them on certain days, and just try to keep up with that.
Yep, move around. There's one fellow was asking, I think he said something about what's the best to use for 20 pounds. I guess maybe the best hook. I can't really say what's the best, but I like circle hooks. A 12-aught circle hook is I've caught fish 2 or 3 pounds on it. Stacy uses what is that one you use? 10-aught.
10-aught mag catter, and if he can't get on it, don't even want him.
Yeah. that 12-aught Dell's tackle hook, I would say, and I'll go ahead and throw this out there. He might not like it, but I don't stir anybody wrong. If you're unless you use big live bait, the only downfall to that 12-aught circle hook to me would be if you try to use some live bait. That 12-aught hook is got a big diameter, and it is a big hook. I'm not saying that you can't. Of course, I've never been a big live bait fan user. I don't use it much at all anyway. But say if I was wanting to try to keep one good and alive, say a little bluegill or brim or whatever you call them, it might be a little bit hard to use that. But that 12-aught hook, I've caught 2-pound fish up to 90-pound fish on it. So, and anything in between. And Stacy's done the same with that mad catter. He's reeled fish in literally 12 inches long with it.
Well, Joshua just put this on here in the comments that he's caught 5-pounders on 12-ball hooks.
Yeah. Now saying that, if you fish in a place that don't have big fish that's got 20-pound and under fish, I probably wouldn't use a 12-aught hook. But if you're fishing for trophy fish and they are around, that 12-aught hook will catch a 2-pound fish to whatever you're going to catch. So that's the best way that I can answer that.
Yeah, and I'm looking, when I go fishing, I'm probably a little bit different than anybody else. I'm fishing for a big fish. That's what I'm looking for. And I want to share this about big hooks, because this is the reason I feel this is a 10-aught 10-aught hook. I usually fish with 9 and 10-aught hooks is what I fish with. But if you notice, I can put my thumb down through that, between the tip and the shank of this hook. It's a wide gap there. Guys, if you ever sometimes get a 35, 40-pound catfish, some of them lips on them fish are just really, really swollen and big. If you fishing with a small hook, it's not able to get around that, and that's why I like the big hooks. But I'm like Joey, if you fishing in a place probably that's not got them bigger fish, and you're trying to catch a little bit smaller ones, I'd fish with something like a 4 or 5 or 6-aught hooks is what I would. But that right there is my preference, and that's what I'm looking for, is a big one. Hey,
Brad Andrews, Brad Andrews. Stacy fishes up, like he said, he's in South Alabama, so his water don't get near as cold as the Ohio River or Green River. But Stacy, he's wanting to know what your go-to water depth is in early winter. Around home, I try to find that deep water because it seems to me that all them fish congregate in deeper water. Now I know in Stacy's area it's probably a little different. He can and in the wintertime it's either spot locking or anchor fishing for us.
Yeah, and where I'm at here in South Alabama, the water temperature gets down below 48 degrees. This done got really cold. Most time it's I hardly ever see it get below 50. I fish a lot. I catch a lot of fish in that 25 to 35 foot depth. I have discovered here in the last couple of years, and I've always fished certain water depths, and I'm trying to break that habit of getting out of that routine and getting into different things. I've started, as it gets colder and on the sunshiny days, if it is cold and the sun is beaming, I'm gonna be fishing pretty shallow. I'm gonna looking for something 20 foot or less to fish. I'm looking for some kind of flat. My thinking is, you probably know like I do, if you've tried to catch shad in the wintertime, which we can pretty much well get them about all winter, unless we just have a really, really bad cold. But I've always found out, man, we can get shad in the wintertime after the sun comes up in the shallow water. And so I try to look for them places to also go catfishing. And it seemed to be pretty productive for me.
It's kind of hard to answer that question if you don't know what kind of water you're fishing. But somebody else is talking about deep holes. There's a hole here in the Owensboro area that I fish that's 100 foot deep, and usually I've always had the mindset of when this water gets about what it is now, 55 degrees and colder, I try to find them deep holes. And also, there's some new people on here. If you're using them circle hooks, do not jerk and grab them. Just reel down on the fish, because if you jerk, you're going to hate them. You are absolutely you're going to call Joey an idiot and tell Dale's tackle that his hooks are horrible. Them circle hooks, you just reel down on the fish. The hooks that Stacy uses, that's when you get you some. You try to pull them in the boat. So just keep that in mind. If you can't break that habit of trying to set that hook, circle hooks is not going to be for you. Them fish do it all.
Joey, let's go ahead right now. Let's give away the 12 hooks and the pliers.
All right, there's the pliers.
Show what you got there, Joey.
There's the pliers. You can see that little point right there. You can stick that on the hook, and you get that down in the fish's mouth as close to that turn of that hook as you can, just like that, so to say, and jerk that hook will jerk right out of there. You can see Stacy's video. He shows you the other day. It hook will come right out. But this is for another set of 12-aught hooks and these pliers here.
All right, I got it. Let me pop it up on here. This is the winner of the 12-aught hooks and the pliers. He says maybe he won't hard time it no more. I popped his name and there it popped up. I said, well, Big Mama Brian, you got a 12-aught pack of Dale's Tackle 12-aught hooks and a pliers from Dale's Tackle.
Well, he's loyal. I can tell him that. He's on here every week.
Hey, thank you for tuning in there. We're going to give away another pack of hooks. Hold on just a second.
Yeah, all of y'all talking about the water depths. Don't be afraid to mix it up. Like I said the other day, I went over, and I normally wintertime, I don't fish nothing but deep holes. I try to find ledges. I try to find some structure. And I'm like Stacy. He and I talk about it all the time. It seems to me that 25 to 40 foot of water, especially 30 to 35 foot, if you can find that, I know it's kind of magic a lot of times, that 30 to 35 foot of water.
I'm going to share this. I'm going to just throw this out there. And I done met with the people down at the local coffee shop, and I've talked to them hundreds of times, and they asked me when I get ready to leave, where you going? What you doing? I said, I'm going catfishing, and every one of them will tell me, you ought to go down there and try that. This old 100-foot hole down there. It's where them big ones will lay at. Guy, let me tell you this right here, because that's a mindset. That's a mindset. You know where those big holes at? Is one in there 80 foot deep. That's where them big ones is at. Guys, I have caught, I know there's probably been close to a half a dozen that's over 80 pounds come in my boat. And guys, every one of them come up under 20 foot of water.
Yeah. True statement. It is.
Hey, so I'm gonna let you figure. Hey, some of them come in 10 and 12 foot of water.
Yeah. Hey, Stacy, it's just like bass fishing. You get you a big old nice bass boat, and all you do is cruise around that bank and throw that buzz bait or worm right up on that bank and work them. It don't. And then if you're fishing on the bank, you're slinging it out there in the middle.
Yeah. Oh, let me share one more thing. And we're gonna do another pack of 12-aught hooks, and we're gonna do another giveaway and try to get off of here. But I want to share one more thing. Charles Crook made the comment, "Don't be afraid to move." Joey, when fishing behind the dams, I am a big fan. Joey is my anchor man, so he knows firsthand. It's like, man, we fix to pull up here. We're going to anchor down. 20 minutes, 30 minutes at the most, and we're moving. 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and we're moving. My belief is I want to get in this current seam, and you've seen this, Joey. We'll get up in that current seam and get just positioned just right. And I said, we're going to start at the very front. I said, them fish is here somewhere. We just got to find the sweet spot. Mm-hmm. And we have fish 30 minutes, pull the anchor up, and you can see where that seam's going. Sometimes don't even crank the motor up. Just let the current carry us back about 200 or 300 yards.
It'll take
drop
you with
the anchor again. 100 yards, drop it. And we fixing to cover these couple hundred yards here by anchoring 3 or 4 times and hoping that we're gonna hit this right little sweet spot as we do it. You've seen it as well as I do. Soon we pull the anchor up, drift back 100 yards, drop it again, and just go with the current. Drop it back.
Most of the time, Stacy, most of the time, we're sitting there probably less than 10 minutes when we catch fish. Most of the time when we sit down, if it's 20 to 8 right now, Stacy will say we're going to give them to 8 o'clock. Most of the time, not all the time. Soon as we set up and get ready, it happens. And then if we get another fish or something, we'll extend the time. But but give them a limited amount of time and bounce around, you'll find them.
Yeah, and just keep moving, and you will find them fish. And it's like I do, you know, if we're gonna go from 20 to 8, we pull up here right now, and we're gonna say at 8 o'clock we moving. That's 20 minutes. We're gonna give them 20 minutes, and we're moving. And we might not move but 50 yards or 100 yards, but we're gonna move. And if we catch one that's a quality size, I just like reset the clock. We're gonna give them 20 more minutes, and when we, after that, if we don't catch them, we pull it up and just flow with the current and just run and gun, you know, and just drop it, pulling the anchor, dropping it, trying to find where they at. I find that works really good in them tail races behind the dams. That is a really good technique because some of y'all have seen this. There'll be one guy back there, he's catching them, and you ain't. Well, you know why? He got in that sweet spot. And sometimes you just got to find that sweet spot. There's something there that's caused them to hunker down, to hide there, to get out of the current, something, and just work on finding it.
Hey, Stacy, it's not the lazy man's technique. I'm gonna tell you right now, and everybody's been on me in chat. Chad Bryant said, "I bet Joey brings his own zip ties now."
Hey, let me share this with y'all guys, cause have you seen Doug Walker on him?
He's on here.
Doug Walker is probably going to shoot me next time he sees me, cause I had to borrow his anchor last time. Well, guys, I got tired of every time I throw my anchor out and it gets hung a little bit, my zip tie breaks. I'm like, I want something that's a little bit harder to break. So I get on Amazon and I'm getting to looking for these zip ties. Well, I found some. They was rated for 250 pounds. So that's the ones I bought. Well, when I borrowed Doug Walker's anchor, I happened to give it back to him with one of them 250-pound zip ties tied to it. I'm probably not his best friend right now, because he was trying his best from listening to you, trying to get that anchor, trying to get that zip tie to break, and it just won't break, hardly.
He called me the other day and he said, Stacy don't use zip ties, he uses motor mounts.
Well, I'm gonna get some a little bit easier to break, but them were overkill, I can tell you that.
Ed Hubert, I can answer that for me and Stacy. How long would you give a spot you just caught 190 pounds from? Ed Hubert, I just set up shop because I wouldn't move.
Hey, there's some spots, and I need to tell them this too. There's some spots I will go camp on. Yeah. And I'm like, and when I say that, I'm like 3 or 4 hours.
That's the blue dot.
Never move.
Them blue dots.
Some people can't do that. I mean, they just don't. But I'm like, I can do it. I can lay down in the boat and put my clickers on and go to sleep and just wait for it to wake me up with it screaming, going south. You know what I mean?
Hey, Stacy, Ryan and I, this is the truth. Ryan and I, when we winter fish, of course, we get comfortable. We will sit in a spot 6 or 8 hours, and sometimes we might not even catch a fish. And that is the truth. We will sit there for 6 or 8 hours because I'm not pulling the anchor up and get my hands frostbit, and neither is he. So we'll just sit there for 6 or 8 hours.
Joey, we fixing to give away this other pair of pack of hooks. These are 12-aught Dale's tackle hooks, and we're fixing to give them away right now. Give me just a second.
Yeah, Chad Bryant, Stacy and I have been talking about y'all's area. We good Lord willing, we plan on coming down there another time or two this year. and I'm coming back for revenge. There's a couple of fish that owes me some hooks. Paula, she says it depends on how much activity she's having in that spot. That's the best way. If you're having success, don't ever don't ever leave fish to go looking for fish. If you're having good luck, sit there. I mean, you never know. Stacy and I, we caught a couple. He caught a 99 pounder and I caught a 91 pounder, and it was literally 15 minutes apart, and I think we had sat there for quite some time. About most of the time we catch them, we'll sit there, and it don't just happen immediately. But those spots that you have success in, they are a whole lot. They're worth a few hours of your time.
And let me share my thought with that right there, Joey. I think there's some places that fish travel. I think fish travel. I think they, I could, if I could see what the fish are doing, they may have me proved totally wrong. But I think that there's some places just like highways that these fish is coming up and down or going in and out of to feed. And when I get in one of them places that I've had success at, I will set up camp on one of them spots. I'm like, they're going to come through here sometime or another. I just need to be here when they do. And I know I share a lot of information, but there's certain times I use certain things and when I don't use them. And a lot of that just comes, but guys, I've been catfishing all my life. And I've really been focusing on catfishing for the last 15 years. Really locked in on trying to catch bigger fish. It could be a little bit longer than that. So that knowledge comes with a lot of hard work and just time, and then people would ask me, I think Brian Taylor was with me one time fishing a while back, and he asked me, said, what made you stop here? I said, I just liked the way it looked. It's just some places that look fishy. You know what I mean?
I like the scenery. If I'm gonna fish right here, I like this scenery. And like Chad Bryant says, I'll throw this out there real quick too. Chad Bryant, you're exactly right. Anytime you're fishing with Stacy, he's constantly asking the Lord to bless us with the big one, and he normally does. Hey, so all of y'all out there, look up and ask the good Lord to bless you with the big one, because I'm telling y'all, a lot of times it works. It works.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna say this, and the Lord has blessed me tremendously, and the blessings of the Lord being upon my life has made me look like a lot better fisherman than I really am. And I'm giving credit to him because
Stacy says, you got to ask the Lord and let him know what you want. I want a big one. Lord bless us with a big one. And it works. And you can take that to the bank.
That's why I always make sure that I give the Lord glory for everything that goes in my life, because it's he that has made. I think the word of God says it's he that has made us and not we ourselves. And I've understood that, and I've received that, and I embrace that. It's the Lord who has made things possible for me, and I just embrace it. I enjoy it. Hey, the winner of the 12-aught hooks, Joe Lavery, I hope that maybe pronounced that right. Contact me or Joey. Get me your address, and I'm going to make sure that you get these 12-aught hooks. Hey, let's go ahead right now, Joey. I know I've rambled on tonight. You get me talking, and I go on and on and on. I'm going to give away. I want to tell y'all, because y'all see me trying to find the camera. Everything's reversed from where I'm at. These are my new SmackDown hats. And I'm going to give away one of these. And I'm going to throw a couple of other items in extra with this right here. So
let me get my FTC in.
Go ahead and put it in there, Joey. Hey,
right.
man, I love this thing. I just need to get some slime on it. I don't know how everybody else is, but I've got a certain hat that I wear fishing. I just retired it when I got these new ones, and I got to get this and broke in. I like it with a sweat around it and slime on it, and I call that my fishing hat. So yeah. I'm gonna break me a new fishing hat in.
Yep. Hey, there's a Paula Smith's on here, and I'm gonna mention this real quick, Stacy, while you're looking for a winner. Her and her husband is very, very knowledgeable about catfishing and what they do. I believe, I can't find it now, but I believe she said on here that those big catfish are very territorial. And she said that I guess the studies that they had seen or had or something said that those big fish could, I'm trying to find it because I hate saying it wrong, but I believe she said they could travel up to 20 miles a day. So, and I do, like I said, I know her and her husband do a lot of studying on all of that. Man, at SDC's, it's
Hey, they want one of these SmackDown hats, man.
I don't see my name on there.
You probably didn't put it in the SmackDown chat.
Man, it's they want that hat because I can't even scroll up no farther. So if I blew that up, I apologize. But I believe she said them things travel up to 20 to 22 miles a day.
I believe that. I believe they're territorial. And I'm going to share this, but I got to get this posted on here. There was something that grabbed my attention. And not that I'm, this come from a guy that noodled. And it made me think. He says, we could catch a big fish out of a pipe and go back the next day and catch another big one. And
out of a what?
Out of a pipe or wherever they catch them from, you know.
A pipe?
A pipe or box or whatever they call them out of. But I thought about this because once that when you ever notice a place how it holds big fish? You hear people talking. It made me think. When one fish moved out, man, another big one moved in. And maybe it's like old big bucks. They were just waiting to where they could rule the territory. That made me think about what Paula said, because I think these big fish are territorial.
Stephen Jackson, so we don't forget you. You can get any of this stuff, his rod holders, hats, shirts, hoodies, at SmackDownCatfishing.com. Check them out. He's got those brand new hats on there, and all your rod holders, makes the everything that you're looking for. He's got it on there. If he don't have it, ask him for it and he can get it. I believe he's got decals and everything that you're looking for. So, Stacy, I hate to. Robert Thomas threw this question up a time or two, and if you would, I'll let you answer it. They're asking about the ACA and what your thoughts is on it. I would think Stacy and I's talked about it, and just give it a little time and do some research on it and check it out and make your own decision is the best thing that I can tell you. But Stacy, you can touch on it if you would like.
From what I've read and what I've seen, because I cannot inquire or say much about something I don't know a whole lot about. I do know that from what I've seen and the way that things are wanting to be run, it's a great idea. But that's about all I know. I don't know much else about it. I don't know how it's set up. I don't know anything else about it that I could sort of put a stamp on it and say, hey, this is it, because I don't really know. From what I've seen and what I've read, with the conservation, with the tournament deal, with the way the point system goes, I think it's a great idea. But that's all I can share about that, because I don't really know.
Yeah, I agree. Just if you're cautious about it, or or whatever, make your own decision. Get on there and research it. Sit back a little while and see if they're doing stuff that you like or whatever. I mean, it's like each his own. I know there's several people. Chad Bryant, he joined them. He's all in. So I mean, it's each his own. I'm not going to knock nothing, even if it don't go as planned. It's really none of my business. But if they do what they say they're going to do, then it's awesome. And Paula Smith says they can travel 22 miles a day, but in the wintertime, they usually go back to their home waters. So there you go.
And I don't know. I know Paula and them's very informational. I know her husband has worked with the conservation. There was an article in the in Fisherman or something other like that I read. It's a pretty old article. If I can find it, it is on my page. I'll try to repost it again. But it backed up just some of the stuff here that Miss Paula has made mention of about these fish traveling 20, 25 miles in one direction, going up into tributaries in the spring and when it's time that they're spawning. And after that, it told that they would even come back to the exact location that they left. These fish are just not wanderers. They going back and forth, staying in places. And so, and that it made me think these fish are moving. A fish that'll move 25 miles, listen, that's a good little ways to be moving now.
Yep.
Hey, the winner of the SmackDown hat, and I got some extra stuff we're going to throw in there for this. I promise you, you're going to love this. Jason Bryan Sr., if you would, you contact me, and we're going to get this right here packaged to you. SmackDown hat and some other gifts here. So make sure that you get a hold to me. For the ones who won this stuff, make sure you send me your mailing address. I will get this stuff to Dale's, and we will get it taken care of.
Yep.
Joey, you got anything else before we jump off of here this afternoon?
Stacey, before you give us a good word for the week, I'd like to real quick thank Meat Hunter Rods. I know you use a lot of their products. They help you out a whole lot. I'd like to thank Catch the Fever, Big Cat Fever, for their contributions. Robert Thomas. I'd like to thank Dale. I'd like to thank you, Stacey, Dustin Fowl,
Chad Bryant. Throw Chad Bryant's name in there.
Doug Walker, Chad Bryant. There's a lot of behind the scenes. Troy Smith, Stacey's area. All these people donate stuff that we give away for this show, and we are very grateful. We're appreciative. Foley with Foley Spoons. There's, and I know I'm probably forgetting somebody, but we appreciate all of you. I know none of you want to be mentioned. Steve Stacey. None of you want to be mentioned, but it's the least that we could do is give you your props and thank you much. We appreciate it. And Stacey, give us a good word for the week, buddy. That's what people want to hear.
I'm gonna close with this. It's in Psalms 103. I'm just going to read the first two verses, and y'all can go and look it up and read the rest of it. But in Psalms 103, in verse 1 and in verse 2, it says, "Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me. Bless his name. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all his benefits." Hey, I thank God for his benefits that he has placed upon us, and he watches over us. And so don't you forget that God is watching over us. Hey, God bless y'all this afternoon. Hope that you've had a great time. We'll see y'all again here next week. May the Spirit of the Lord continually to move in your life and to move in a mighty way. I want you to don't forget this. We have a Savior who cares about us. God bless you.